What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our SEC channel. Going to take a look at the Mississippi State Bulldogs and if this team will be better or worse in 2024. Just my initial thoughts. Of course, Jeff Lebby coming in, a new coach after just 1 year from Arnett. They were 5-7 last year, tied for 6th in the SEC West. And it's going to be a different looking team, I'm sure. They have a lot of guys in the transfer portal. They're bringing in a lot of guys. I can't go through every single name, so I'm sorry I'm not going to mention everybody in this video. This is just a quick rundown. But yeah, we'll start with the offensive side. Will Rogers was gone. Mike Wright should be back. And this was a team that was really tough for me to find out who was like. The roster hasn't been updated yet, and there just wasn't a lot of information out there on players that were borderline, like players that could potentially come back and use their COVID year and all that. So if I get a player wrong, I'm sorry. I'll have it all sorted out once that official spring roster comes out. But I believe Mike Wright is going to be coming back, and so they have him at quarterback. But Blake Shapen, the transfer from Baylor, I think he'll probably be the guy. And I think this Jeff Lebby offense will be a lot better. Not to give away if we think it'll be better or worse, but again, talking about the offense here, I think they'll be better there with just the scheme. And then you look at the running back position. Marks is gone. He transferred out. But you've got Jeffrey Pittman and Seth Davis. Seth Davis, I think, has a chance to be really good in this offense. And so I'm not too concerned about the running back position. They do lose some players at wide receiver. Tulu Griffin is gone. Xavion Thomas, he transferred out. And then you look at what they've done in the transfer portal. Kevin Coleman comes in. That's one addition to that wide receiver group. And then also a guy from UTEP. Don't really know much about him. He has a name that's extremely hard to pronounce, so I'm not even going to try it. But anyways, wide receiver position, they should be fine. They had a lot of depth there, so I think look at a guy like Jaden Wally. Remember a couple of years ago, he was really good. Didn't do a whole lot this last year. So some of these guys, I think with the new scheme, are going to do much better. You look at tight end, they don't really have well, I do believe, I'm not sure about Spivey if he's coming back or not. Again, this is one of those guys that I don't know if he was able to use a medical red shirt or not, but the tight end position's kind of one I'm not too sure about. Looking at what they did in the transfer portal, they did add some players at tight end. They did add Cameron Ball from Buffalo, so you get him in there from the transfer portal, and also Justin Ball from Vanderbilt. And I have to look it up. I'm wondering if maybe those are brothers with the same last name. But a couple of tight ends there, and so again, it's really about the scheme. The offensive line, that is a concern. They do lose a lot on the offensive line. That's probably the biggest concern for them on that side of the ball. But they use the transfer portal there as well to fill some holes. Ethan Miner comes in from North Texas. They also added Marlon Martinez from LSU. And then also Jacoby Jackson from Texas Tech. So they filled some holes there in the transfer portal. We'll see how all that works out. But again, it's not really about the players as much as it is about the scheme. I think with Jeff Lebby coming in, they're going to improve there. They lose some guys, but they bring in some guys. And I think talent-wise, this offense is probably pretty similar, but I think they will be better on that side of the ball just because of the changes they're going to be making. So offense, I think, looks better for Mississippi State. Now let's talk about the defense. They lose a lot. They lose some key players on defense. Jordan Davis will be gone. You've got Jaden Crumity gone. Nathan Pickering going to be gone. And again, some of these players I'm assuming are gone, but they potentially could maybe have another year. It gets tricky with all this COVID stuff. But so they lose some players on that defensive line. Looks like Jet Johnson, Deshaun Page going to be gone. I know that Nathaniel Watson will be gone. He was a great linebacker for them last season, All-American player. So obviously they're going to miss him. And then in the secondary, a lot of guys coming back there, it looks like. So that's an area where they should be pretty decent. But again, you lose some really good players in the front seven. I think because of that, the defense probably a little bit worse. Not much. I think it'll be pretty similar, but I'll say they'll be a little bit worse on that side of the ball. And again, you're going to have a head coach that's more of an offensive-minded guy compared to a defensive-minded coach they had last year. So because of that, maybe you expect the defense to be a little bit worse. So I think the offense a little bit better, defense a little bit worse. What does that mean for Mississippi State? I don't think they're going to make any big jump this year. I'm going to say this team will be about the same. I think they have a chance maybe to get to a bowl game. It's going to be tough in the SEC, of course, with these new teams coming in and the schedule changing and all that. I haven't really dug into their schedule yet, but it's probably going to be tough for them to get to a bowl game, but I think very possible. And I think that would be a successful season in year one under Jeff Lebby. And again, that I think should be the goal for Mississippi State. But I'm going to say they'll be about the same in 2024. Do you guys agree or do you disagree? Let me know your thoughts on the Bulldogs down in the comments below.